This tutorial is for 3rd grade, Module 3, Lesson 11. In this lesson, we're going to use tape diagrams to help us solve word problems. The first problem says Ms. Santor divided 32 students into 8 equal groups for a field trip. Label the tape diagram showing the number of students in each group as n. Write an equation and solve for n. I'm going to start by writing an answer statement to the question with a blank where the answer belongs. So it's asking us how many students are in each group. So I will say there are blank students in each group. Well, the tape represents the entire group of students, so we'll show that our total is 32 students. Since they've divided the students into 8 equal groups, I'm going to divide my tape into 8 equal groups. I'll start by dividing it into 4 groups and divide each of those in 2. That gives me 8 groups. And it says that we're going to show the number of students in each group as n. So I'll write n in my first unit and label it as 1 group. Now we have to write an equation that will help us solve this problem. Since I have 32 students that I've divided into 8 groups, I'm going to use the division problem. 32 divided into 8 equal groups gives me an answer of n. In order to solve this problem, I can think of the problem 8 times something equals 32. Well, I know that 8 times 4 is 32. That tells me that n equals 4 and that there are 4 students in each group. The next question says Tara bought 6 packs of printer paper. Each pack of paper costs $8. Label the tape diagram showing the total amount she spent as m. Write an equation and solve for m. So again, we'll start by writing our answer statement. So we'll say Tara spent blank on paper. Now this time we don't know the total, so we're going to show that as the total amount of money is m. That's what we have to solve for, is m. We do know that she bought 6 packs of paper, so we'll divide the tape into 6 groups. And we also know that 1 pack of paper costs $8. To solve this problem, I can take 6 times $8 and get my total, or m. 6 times 8 is 48. So 48 shows me the total amount of money she spent on the paper, $48. So Tara spent $48 on the paper. Here's another example. This question says 8 boys equally shared 4 packs of baseball cards. Each pack contained 10 cards. How many cards did each boy get? We'll start with our answer statement. Each boy got blank cards. So here's what we know. We know that there's 4 packs of cards. So I'm going to divide the tape into 4 groups. We don't know the total number of cards, but we do know that each section is 10. So knowing that there's 10 cards, that tells me that we have 40 cards altogether. But that's not the question that's being asked. The question is, how many cards does each boy get? Well, there's 8 boys, and I have 4 sections. So what I really need to do is divide these sections in 2. That gives me 8 sections. One of these units then tells me how much one boy gets. Well, if this whole tape section here is 10, then half of it would be 5. So each boy then gets 5 cards. Another way to look at that is I have 8 sections. Each section has to be worth 5 because that gives me my total of 40. So each boy got 5 cards. Let's look at one more question. This one says there are 8 bags of yellow and green balloons. Each bag contains 7 balloons. If there are 35 yellow balloons, how many green balloons are there? We're going to start by writing our answer statement. It's asking how many green balloons there are, so I will say there are blank green balloons. Now let's see what we know about this question. We know that we have 8 bags of balloons. So let's start there. We're going to divide our tape into 8 sections. So we have our 8 bags. We know that each bag contains 7 balloons. So that tells me that my total is 56 balloons because 8 times 7 is 56. So we know that much. We also know that there are 35 yellow balloons. Well, if each section has 7 balloons, then I have to figure out how many sections use 35 balloons. Well, since 5 times 7 is 35, then I know that the first 5 sections times 7 equals 35. That's my yellow balloons. And that means that the leftover sections would be my green balloons. Since I have 3 sections left over, and they're each worth 7, 3 times 7 is 21, so there must be 21 green balloons. So you can see how the tape diagrams help us set up the problems, and then we can use our multiplication and division facts to help us solve the problem.